everyone. Can everyone hear me? Yes. My name is Beatriz, and featuring baby. I'm pregnant, and I came all the way from Brazil to share with you about a project that me and other people from the community that I'm part of did a translation of the R for Data Science book into Portuguese, which is the language that we speak in Brazil. And this is not working. So I guess most of you already know which book this is. It's the R for Data Science book. And this is a great book to learn about how to program in R and also about the tidyverse in general. And this book is available online for free, so anyone can access the website and read the book and study. And also, you can buy a printed version if you want. And in this talk, I want to talk to you about how we did a translation of this book into Portuguese and how we got people to contribute. So how did we translate the book into Portuguese? First of all, there is already a translation of the book in the first edition of the book that was translated in 2019 in Brazil, some years ago. But one of the problems is that it was available only on printed version, so you could not access it for free. And I'm not sure how much you all know about Brazil, but it's a country with a lot of income inequality. And the cost of this book now costs around 10% of the monthly minimum wage in Brazil. So for students, this is quite expensive. And this story about this translation starts back in 2019 in USR. I had an opportunity to attend the conference with a diversity scholarship, and there I met a lot of people from the Latin community that Brazil speaks Portuguese, the whole other part of Latin America speaks Spanish, and we actually didn't connect, so that was a great experience. And Riva Quiroga, she was presenting about the translation of the book to Spanish, and she was presenting also about the development of a package called Datos, which had the translations of the data sets, used in the book into Spanish. And that presentation inspired me a lot because I didn't even knew that it was possible to do a translation if you were not like a big publisher. And Riva and I got in touch, and in 2020, she said, okay, you cannot translate the book because it was already translated, but what if we translate the data sets of the book so you can use in tutorials, classes, and so on. So Datos got a sibling, which is called package Dados. In English, it all translates to data sets. And we got 11 volunteers to work on this project. Everyone that is on purple borders are people from Our Ladies groups, not only from Brazil, but in other Latin American countries. So you see, it was not a project from Our Ladies, but a lot of people from Our Ladies were part of it. And now the package, it's available on CRAN. You can download, install it, and use the data sets that you already know from the book, like Star Wars, Palmer penguins, and New York City flights. And we did the translation of like the name of the variables, the categories and text variables, and also the help pages. All the help pages are also translated to Portuguese. I'm quite a GitHub user, and if you don't know what GitHub is, it's a platform that you can use to store your code and work collaboratively with other people that develops things. And this book is actually built on a GitHub repository. And during 2021, I noticed that there was some movements in the GitHub repo from the book, and that the authors were developing the second edition of the book. So that was our chance to maybe trying to have a translation of the book into Portuguese. So in this moment, some imposter syndrome thoughts came into my mind, like, oh, you're just a PhD student. The authors of the book have a lot of things to worry about. They don't have time to worry about like translating stuff to Portuguese, or there's a lot of people that might be more experienced than you, excuse me, to do this translation. But after a while, I thought about a phrase that my mom always said, which in Portuguese says, "O não você já tem." And the translation would be something like, if you don't ask, the answer will already be no, like, let's try. So, inspired by my mom, I went on the GitHub repository and wrote an issue saying, hey, Hadley, which is the first author of the book, it would be great if you have like the translation by the community of the second edition. I'm part of the team that did the translation of the package dados into Portuguese. Let us know if we can do it. And after a while, Hadley responded to me. He said that, yeah, you cannot do the first edition, but maybe we can get an authorization to do the second edition. And eventually he said that Aurelie said yes. Yay. But we couldn't start that just yet because they were still writing the book. So we had to wait a bit. So during 2022, 2023, we had to wait until they finished the book. And this picture is from PositConf 2022. I had the opportunity to come here, and I said, hey, Hadley, I'm a real person. I'm the person that wrote that issue. I'm really interested in doing that. It's not like a bot from GitHub or something. And in the middle of 2023, he said that the book was finished, and he asked if we wanted to ask Aurelie again, and then in September, we got the permission. Yay. So from September 2023 until November 2024, we got more than 20 people working in this translation. Back then, I think like ChatGPT and stuff was like quite bad, was not really good to be used, so people had to translate it, and we had like one person to translate the book and 2 people to review the translation. So, and these people are from like really different areas of knowledge, not only all statisticians. And in the end of 2024, almost a year ago, we got the Portuguese version of the book online. So you can access it on pt.r4ds.hadley.nz. So it's an official domain from Hadley. And now everyone can access the second edition of the book for free and online. Yay. So how we get so many people to contribute in this project? So there are streaming things that I thought about when thinking about this talk. The first is widen our reach. I needed to find people to contribute. So the first thing is communities are a great way to find people. We found a lot of people in Our Ladies, as I said before, but also Latinar, which is the community for programmers from Latin America, which has people that speak Portuguese, English, Spanish, Porto English, Portuñol, and so on. So it's really mixed. And also like local communities such as Curso-R. So we found a lot of people on communities, and a lot of people also came from a call from volunteers on social media. You can see that Blue Sky is not here because most people use like LinkedIn and Instagram in Brazil. So we called for volunteers on the social media we use most there. And a lot of people that I'd never met before that were part of the translation team, they came from these posts on social media that other people shared. And the second thing that was important for us in this project was to show the path. As I said before, the book is stored in a GitHub repository, so we did a fork of that GitHub repository and did all the translations there. But turns out a lot of people don't know how to use GitHub. So some people were interested in contribute, but they never used Git or GitHub before. Especially things like issues, pull requests, and projects. Sometimes they knew how to open up a repo and downloaded it and close it, but they didn't know how to use these other features that we used a lot. So eventually, in the start of the project, I was doing one-on-one calls with the volunteers that needed help, explaining to them how we could use Git and GitHub. But as the team grew, it was quite hard to keep it up with one-on-one calls all the time. So we started doing a translation guide, which is in a quarto book. So in this translation guide, we wrote things related to the translation itself, some patterns that we were following. For example, Portuguese and Spanish are languages that has gender in all the words, like simple things that you speak in English and has no gender at all, like author. In Portuguese is autora or autor. So we had to think about how we would translate in a way that's more neutral and not so marked on gender. So we wrote all these ideas there, but we also wrote a bunch of chapters about what is Git and GitHub, how can you start reviewing a chapter, and how you do a pull request and things like that. And that translation guide was growing as the project was growing, because new questions made me do new contributions to this book, to this guide, and that helped us a lot. And I think this part was really important, because if we didn't do these capacitations, these guides and one-on-one calls, a lot of people would be locked outside the translation project. And for a lot of people that were part of, this was their first contribution to a community project or to open source or using GitHub in general. So that was really important for us. And in this moment, I think it's really important to emphasize that we are standing in the shoulders of giants. So as I said before, the Latin American community, the Spanish people that are part of the Latin American community, they already have done DR for data science in Spanish translation. So especially Riva, which is the leader of that translation, she helped us a lot with a lot of things how they did the translation, the workflow, and what went wrong. So for us, it was really easier, because we didn't have to repeat with the problems they had before. We didn't have to reinvent the wheel. And this is a community project, not only for our Brazilian community, but it has a collaboration from the community in Latin America in general. So the third thing that I think it's important in this kind of project, and it was important for our project, was to be patient. So you see that it was not quick. So the whole process from starting from dados until the translation of the book took around 4 years. And the book has 30 chapters, from small chapters to longer chapters. And we have had around 30 volunteers from dados in the book as well, from developing the translations of dados in the book. And people involved are volunteers. So a lot of them were doing the contributions during their weekends, the time they could be with their families, and they chose to be there. So it was important for us to be a good experience for everyone. Sometimes people could stop responding or took a long time, we just gave them gentle nudges like, hey, are you still up to are you still want to do this translation or this review? And if they said no, there was no problem, because we bring other people as a reinforcement, because we had like this big pool of people that wanted to participate. And as I said, it was important to be patient in this process, and it was really worth it, because 2 months ago, no, some weeks ago, I was in a conference in Brazil, and I was in an effort of sharing about the book, because some people that are not part of the community still don't know about the book. And a lot of people thanked me in that moment, because, and I said, it's not a project that I did, it was like a lot of people involved, but they thanked us a lot, because now they can use the book like in classes, and I know some teachers on universities that are already using it. So it was totally worth it. As I said, the book is being used in university courses and activities on Our Ladies and other communities, and we also are doing Our Ladies Book Club. And this book club actually started while the book was being translated. So we already had 16 meetings. Each meeting is focused on a chapter, and we're planning to do the whole book, so all the meetings is also recorded on YouTube, so people, if they cannot attend the meeting in the time, they can watch after. And some of them had like 600 views, 300 views, 900 views, so a lot of people cannot attend in that time, but they can watch later. And yeah, so this project was a community project, and I would like to give a big thanks to some people. First, the authors of the book. So the book is written by Hadley Wickham, Çetinkaya-Rundel, and Garrett Grolemund. So thank you, the writers of the book, for not only writing the book, but saying okay to the translation. And also O'Reilly, the publisher, for saying okay for this translation as well. I would like to thank the volunteers in this project, like all the 30 people involved. And also the communities, Our Ladies, Latin Art, especially Riva, and the local communities such as Cursoe, and also Bianca and Ariana, because they did some arts that are in the slides, and they're also part of the translation project. And so thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be around the conference, and you can also send me an email. This QR code sends you to the presentation and also to the book. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much. We do have a couple of questions here. So how important is it to have an active leader in a project like this? It seems like a lot of effort from yourself, and how much of the work can be delegated?
I think it's really important to have a person or some group of persons that are leading. Otherwise, people can be like with no focus. And I think there's some things that we could delegate, but it was a lot of effort from me to keep it up with everyone, if they were still on board, if they want to join, if they needed help and things like that. Yeah, we definitely need one leader in the project. I can say that from the participation in Our Ladies, I'm part of Our Ladies as well, and there we don't have like one leader, we have a lot of co-organizers, and sometimes like a lot of people have other things going on, and it's hard to like have regular meetings and continue, because you don't have like one person like say, hey, let's do it, because everyone's like, oh, maybe other person can do it, and that doesn't work so well sometimes.
Right, totally. One other question here, is the translation guide Quarto book, or some lessons learned or tips from offering a translation guide, is it available in English, or is the original available online still?
It's only available in Portuguese, because we only did in Portuguese. Yeah, we only have it in Portuguese.
Okay, but that is available online.
Yeah, it's available online. There's a link in the slides.
Great.
But I know there's other translation projects that also have some guides. I'm not sure if they have like these GitHub tutorials, but yeah, there's also other translations like for Bazaar or OpenSci things that people have some guides for the translation.
Amazing. Is there any tracking on the number of views of the book?
Oh, no. I have to, I didn't thought about like setting up like Google Analytics or something. And all the time someone asks me something like this, I'm like, oh, I didn't think about setting up Google Analytics. So I don't know how many people are accessing the book.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.